All right, so it is a Nutcracker theme bar class we have today, and we're gonna get started. Just wanted to repeat that on camera. All right, that was awesome. Good job. That was definitely very fun to Nutcracker music. Never tried it before unless it's like real classical ballet. So good. All right, so moving on to the inner thighs. We have inner thigh lifts. So you can start with whichever leg you like, doesn't matter. So your front leg is gonna stay straight, come down on the side on your elbow, and then the back leg is gonna come in front. Yep, keep that knee up, right in front of the knee, and then the front leg, straight leg, is gonna stay flexed. You're gonna lift up and down, up and down, up and down. Yeah, and so you can touch the floor a little bit as you come down, but don't drop your weight. So you can slightly touch, but you're really supposed to squeeze everything in the leg, and especially the quad or the glute, yeah, and make that up and down movement tense and powerful. And also, the more you squeeze and build tension, the more muscle strength you do. So that's the inner thigh lifts. And let's see what else. So same position on your side, and we'll switch sides. I'm just not doing both sides right now. So we have toe touches. We have both legs stacked on top. Both hips have to be stacked on top, facing the front. So our top foot is going to stay nice and high, not too far from where your hip is aligned. So keep that top one where it is. Hold on to your hip. The bottom foot is going to meet the top, just like that, a little toe touch. Yep. And again, like you can touch the ground, but just don't really like plop it down or like put all your weight into the ground, because you want to be squeezing and engaging the whole time. And this is more both legs, which is great, than the last exercise. All right, so then almost done with this series. We have in and outs. So unlike the first exercise, the lifts, the back leg is going to be bent, but it doesn't come to the front. It's just back here bent. So the front leg, straight leg still flexed, lead with the knee, bring it in, bring it out, bring it in, bring it out. Yeah, you can rest this hand closest anywhere to your other arm. Yeah, just make sure you're not like twisting back. You want to keep the shoulders front. So in and out. Keep the foot flexed, the leg engaged, and yeah, just lead with the knee. All right, then before we flip over to posterior chain, we have hip bridges where we're engaging both quads, both glutes, both inner thighs at the same time. And then instead of your normal hip bridge, we're going to be doing it turned out. So if you think of like a butterfly position, that's kind of what we're doing here. So butt on the floor, feet are together, and then you lay back. Keep the good posture, hands are palms facing up. Lead with the hips, and then squeeze the glutes here. Yeah, and don't go too far forward. Make sure the hips are in line with the back and the spine. And down, up and down. Squeeze, yes, yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't feel like loose or like your muscles aren't engaged. Like you should feel tense everywhere and engaged. Okay, so then we have posterior chain, very fun. So you flip onto your stomach. So it's kind of the same thing when we have our feet turned out. So think of the knees turned out, the heels come together, and then you rest your arms straight like this. Head doesn't have to be down unless you wanted to. So the first thing we have is the frog lifts. So this is a frog that we're in. Again, the knees are wide, feet together and flexed. We lift up and down, only moving the legs and the feet. So the back of the upper body stays still. Yeah, you can really feel the squeeze in your lower back, the quads, and then your outer thighs. Yeah, so from there, after the lifts, you have lift, extend. So just extend those feet straight and point the feet. Back to flexed and knees bent, down. So up, extend, in, down. Yes, and then we have out and ins. So here we're not in the frog at all. We're all the way extended. We go out and in, out and in. Yeah. Really good to strengthen the lower back. Since I know that can be a sensitive area for pretty much everybody at some point. All right. So pretty much everything except for the hip bridges, we're doing sets of 8 at a time. And then, yeah, there'll be 16 for the hip bridges. Yes, and then of course alternating both sides. And yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is Mars. This is not like in order, the Nutcracker playlist that I made, because I combined it to like 2-minute songs, 6-minute songs, 5-minute songs. So it's not like the storyline order, but the first 2 were the very first 2 songs of the show, or the ballet. All right, so we have Marzipan. All right, perfect. Perfect timing. I know it's a really weird cutoff how the music is. So, but I got it. All right. So we are moving on to core. Very exciting. So we have full sit-ups, which are kind of assisted with your arms. So if you have your feet flat on the floor, hips facing the legs, and then you come down, knees pointed up. So we want to take our arms back and then front, help us get all the way up. And the goal is to have the back straight, shoulders down, kind of slightly gently put your hands on your knees, nothing too, weight driven. So we're not putting all our weight in anything. We're just pressing our hands right here. And then you can kind of come back slowly, use your arms to go up, back up to lead you up. Yep, those are the sit-ups. We'll have 16. Be great. Then we have flutter kicks. They are definitely a little challenge for everybody. So if you have your legs straight, you can either keep the arms facing up, or you can also kind of tuck them under your bottom area. That can help sometimes to kind of build tension and have a stable base in your torso while your legs lift. So squeeze the glutes, engage the core, and then we do flutter kicks up and down. We'll have it for about 8 counts. Yes, so definitely just choose your angle. The lower you go, the more difficult it is. The higher your legs are, it's a little bit easier, but still get the workout. I would say try not to fluctuate with the angle. So try to just find what angle works and then stick to it. You can always change kind of that angle, go up or down each time we do the exercise. But as you're doing like the 8 counts for that time, we're not going up and down, we're staying where we are. Yep. All right, we have alternating scissors, also very fun and burning. So we're back laying down. If you want to start with the back leg, we'll do that, or we can start with the front leg. So we want to reach all the way up. So you want to grab by your ankle, it doesn't have to be at your ankle, and somewhere around your knee. It doesn't have to be a perfectly straight leg, but you want to aim for that. Switch legs, and the bottom leg does not hit the ground. So, yep, scissors, it's called. And make sure that you're not straining your neck. So the whole point is your lower abs mostly, but also your upper abs are engaged and they're working and, getting the benefits. But if you feel tension in your neck, you need to pull up the shoulders a little bit more so that you're just focusing the burning and all that great exercise in the core, because it's not good. Well, you're not working your abs enough if your neck hurts, and it's not good for your neck. So just FYI. Yes. And you can always do them a little slower if you need to. All right, so then we have legs straight up and then crunch reaches. So I'll say the goal is to have the knees straight, but it doesn't have to be perfect, especially as we get further into our rounds. I would say it's totally your option if you want to flex or point, whatever works for you. But we have our hands behind our head. We're going to reach to the opposite leg, opposite leg, opposite leg. So the challenge here is that you really have to stabilize your core and your hips so that you're not moving all over the place, because you really should just be moving your upper body and the hips stay on the floor. You're not rocking back and forth. And then also, make sure the shoulders I mean, as much as you can, try to bring them off the floor, that shoulder, if you're reaching from this arm to the other side, to the other leg. Bring that shoulder off the floor. You're not just like reaching with your hands or your arm. Really reach, get the shoulder off the floor. And then same thing with the neck. If you feel like strain in your neck, all right. So we have 2 more songs. Well, one of them is like 5 minutes long, so that's why we have 2 songs instead of 3. And they are, I don't know exactly what they're called, but for the next sequence of the Nutcracker series. All right, nice ending. That was definitely difficult. Take a sip of water if you need to, definitely breathe. All right, moving on to the bar specific section. So we have a lot jam-packed in here, which is great. So first, gonna go through first, second, fourth, fifth positions. We'll have pliés, relevés, and releve pulses. So first position, feet are turned out like a V. Heels touch. You have your hips facing forward, shoulders down, straight back, spine in line with the hips, engage the core, pelvis tucked under. So in a plie, it means to bend. We bend our knees outwards. So we squeeze everything, hamstring, quads, glutes, etc. And also make sure those feet are neutral so they're not too rolled in or too rolled out. So you should be able to stand in your first position fine. You're not like falling over or anything. So in plie, squeeze everything, knees come out, knees come in. So again, as you come in, you're squeezing everything like a straw. You're not just like that, or just plopping here and there. So open up those knees and squeeze back in. Even right here in your lower thighs. Yep, and the glutes. Plie, straight. Plie, straight. So that's in first. Let me show you in second. Second position, feet are outside the hips. We kind of do this position a lot. We've done it in the warm-up, for example. Hips are still forward, same good posture, core engaged. Just remember those feet are not too far turned out or turned in. So lead with the knees as they turn out and in. Squeeze everything. Out, in. Plie, straight. All right. Now we have four. I'm going to go to the side. You can go to whichever side or stay forward, doesn't matter. But if you're going to start with, I'll start with my right foot. So just make sure whatever foot you start with, when we do the other side, you do the opposite. It's similar to first, where we have 2 feet, the heels touching, but take one leg, whichever leg, like I said, and take it forward so that your heel, front heel, is in line with the back toe. Yep. But the hips still stay front. In good posture, shoulders down. Yeah, get back straight. So it's the same thing. The knees always lead. Just that the front knee is gonna plie out, while the back knee plies out, kind of not in its own way. Plie, straight, plie, straight. Both turn out, back in, turn out. Yep. And then the same thing to the other side. Fifth position is kind of this, it's very similar to fourth, where we have the alignment of front heel, back toe, except you're actually going to meet those two. So instead of having that space, your front heel is actually going to literally connect to the front toe. Yep, and again, hips forward. If it doesn't feel right, just turn it in a little bit more. You want to make it so that you can stand correctly. Engage that core. So knees turn out and come in. Turn out, plie, come in. So those are the main positions. So after the plies, then we'll do releves. So releve means to rise. If we're doing releve in first, we're not using our plie, which we can do a plie releve, but we're not going to do that in this case, just the releve. So again, we always have our good posture, squeeze those legs, and rise into your arches, and come back down. So as we rise, we're not going all the way into our arch. We're doing it so that we're nice and on releve, off the ground, but we can still control ourselves going down. Yeah. And so you never plop down. That's bad for your knees and feet and everything, and heels. So if we're up in releve, we slowly lower, and the last thing that comes to the ground is the actual heels. Slowly your feet come down. And you're still squeezing everything in that process. So you can do the same, oh, sorry, wait. So the same thing in all positions, up and down, up and down. Releve, releve. Fifth position, releve, releve. All right. So then we have releve pulses. Very fun. So first, releve, and then we arch. So when we arch, we keep our feet off the ground, but we are bending our knees, kind of like in the plie. And then we pulse, 2, 3, 4. So kind of like I said before with the releve, we're not fully in our like fullest arch we can be. So we're doing even a little bit less as we allow our knees to come out and to our hips to sit under those feet and pull. Yeah. So yeah, you're really not arching your feet when you're pulsing. You're really just bringing them off the ground so you can support the weight driving outwards into the knees. Still squeeze everything. So, oh, I keep doing that. I forget about second position. Releve, pulse. Yep. Same thing with fourth and fifth. Okay, great. Then we have battements, and those are a lot of information, but it's a long section, and you'll, as long as you're familiar with it, you can definitely follow me along fine. So battements are basically kicks, or where you raise your leg. We still start from each of the positions, so we're not going to just, do it with no base of our feet, our supporting leg especially. So we're in first, our battement front, we're going to do first. So the hips in ballet, they're always going to say front, whatever front that is for you. And in this case, it's the front, like where I'm facing my computer. So to raise our leg, we squeeze everything as we've done. Arms however you like. This is how I'm going to do them. You take your leg front and you bring it back in. So again, hips don't come up or side or weird thing. They stay front. You're just lifting your leg, and the weight is in your supporting leg, and then you're squeezing the rest with your core and everything in your body. Yep, and you're not coming down, shifting the weight onto the working leg or plopping down. You come down nice and easy. And if you want to hold on to something like a chair or a table or whatever it is, definitely, it's not required, or like you don't absolutely need it, but it can help. And then for side battement, you have the same thing. Your hips are front, not side, front, and they don't move. So if I'm kicking my legs side, the hips don't move. They're not coming up. Yes. And try to point that foot if you're doing a battement. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Whatever feels right. Just make sure you're not deliberately. So, and again, bring it in control. Control. That's really all about. That's why barre and ballet, they work so well, because you're engaging certain muscle parts, most of your lower body, and you're able to build tension. And with pulses or small movements, really strengthen those muscles. It's the same thing with this like classical ballet versus like exercise ball. So for the back, this is an arabesque, but it's also a back battement. So it's the same thing, keep those hips front. This is my front now, the side. And take it back, hips stay front, take it back. Yeah. Okay. All right, then we have rond de jambes with lunges. So rond de jambe means to go around. So we're going to face our diagonal in first position. And also, sorry, the battements we just did, those we're just going to do them in first position. So back to our diagonal. We're going to take our foot front, try to point it if you can in a way that works for you. So we're taking front and we go around. Again, don't move the hips. The hips stay in diagonal. We never move our hips. And then we take it to a lunge. Yes, lunge and turn that lunge. Back in, rond de jambe front, rond de jambe front. Yes, and so in the rond de jambe, you don't have your weight into the foot. that goes into the ground. If you're nice and light, you just skim the floor until you do that lunge. And you can also do the lunge with a bent knee if that works. If that's what you prefer, it's up to you. Bent knee, bent working knee, or straight. Then same thing the other side. Diagonal, hips, first position, front and back. Front and back. Squeeze everything so you can make that movement nice and swift. All right, last thing, I know there's a lot. Dégagés. Dégagé is a brush off the floor. So we're gonna do front, side, and back. You think of our battement, we're really bringing that leg up and down, kind of kicking it, but obviously in a controlled way. So this is just our foot, and it's really just 45 degrees. So it requires a little more balance and a little more tension in your calves as well. So same thing, hips front, just staying in first position. And we're gonna brush our leg front and in, front and in. Don't bring the weight into the ground, just rest it on the ground. You still have control of moving it up and down or wherever. Then side, hips stay front and back. Yep, hips stay back. Try to point the foot if you can. All right, so I think that's it. I am going to add a little challenge in the front battements. Forgot to mention this before. So there's something called a fondue, which means that when your leg is above 90 degrees or more, so like a battement where you raise your leg or kick your leg front, you're going to take that leg and bring it into the ankle. Ideally, you want to point the foot like so, but again, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything. So it requires a little more control. Bend that supporting knee, turn out the working knee, and then the foot at the ankle. Bring it back into the battement and close. Just a fun challenge. Like, feel free to just keep doing the battements if it doesn't feel right. All right, I think we're gonna go over time, but it's okay. So here we go. Did a lot in there. All right, so we quickly go through this. Last song, upper body. Good job with the ballet stuff. A lot of good strengthening, turning out, helps with a lot. Mobility, stability, flexibility, muscle strength, lengthening, and alignment too. All right, so we have Wonder Woman high plank. So if you're in a high plank like this, your butt is down, back is straight, shoulders over the wrists. Start with the front arm, bring it front and side. Front, side. Stay in line with your shoulders. Yep, and then the back arm, front, side. Woo. Don't move any other part of your body or anything, or wiggle around your other arm. 8 on both sides, each set. Then we have bear crawl, shoulder tap, and push up. So this is bear crawl. You're on all fours. Same thing with hip, shoulders over the elbows, except you will tuck those feet, lift the knees off the ground. Make sure the back is straight. Shoulder tap, 3, 4, and then 2 push-ups in this position. So, and the push-ups, remember, the elbows lean back like arrows, not all the way side. Bring the chest to the ground. So for there you have 4 shoulder taps, 2 push-ups in bear crawl position. Then we have tricep side push-ups. Very fun. So back onto the side of our body. Start with either side. We have the bottom arm tucks around your waist. The top arm, put it flat like this, sideways, and it's going to allow you to push up and down. Yep, and keep the legs straight, hips facing forward. Don't try not to move anything else in your body. You're really working this tricep right here. Yep. So we'll do both sides. We have one song, and then we'll go right into cool down, and then that will be it. So this is great. Good last challenge. And yes. So this last song is one of the opening scene, the party scene songs, and then the very last cool down song is Sugar Plum Fairy. All right. All right, that is class. Stop recording.